fire that left 2 businesses closed has another London business raising money for their employees.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 5:30.
Good evening. It was an icon in Laurel County, a historic restaurant that served customers for decades.
A fire ripped through Weaver's Hot Dogs on Tuesday, leaving employees without a job. That fire also destroyed Bob's Ready to Wear. Tonight, a London clothing boutique is hoping to raise enough money to help the businesses. Victor Puente talked to store owners about their generous donation. It's our top story at 5:30.
When these businesses burned on Monday, 25 people lost their jobs. Rebuilding is a ways off, but a London clothing store is trying to raise money to help the people who used to work here. The fire that destroyed Weaver's Hot Dogs also left Bob's Ready to Wear too damaged to continue operating. The historic restaurant had served downtown London for decades.
It was strange. I went downtown and I was trying to look around and I just saw Weaver's as caved in.
That strange sight led Allison Stansberry and her mother to try to ease the difficulties the employees both businesses are going through with a sale at their business, Posh Boutique.
We're donating 20% of our sales today to them and tomorrow.
But it's not just a little money they're trying to replace, it's also a little bit of history. The walls of Weaver's were covered with pictures showing scenes of London's past.
You can just walk down through Weaver's and you can look at the wall and you can just see the history, the locals that lived there.
So they're also collecting picture frames to replace the ones that burned in the fire. A local printing company, Minuteman Press, has agreed to fill those frames with pictures for when Weaver's and their employees are ready to return to work.
Quite a few have actually messaged us, thanking us, saying it's a big help and how the word's spreading very fast.
The sale at Posh continues today and runs through tomorrow. You can also drop off picture frames at their store. In Laurel County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
A lot of kindness there. A fundraiser has also been set up on GoFundMe for the employees. The investigation into a threat on Eastern Kentucky University's campus continues. Police and campus leaders are still trying to figure out who's responsible for writing a threat on a bathroom wall. That threat implied harm may come to members of the university community on February 11th, but leaders are taking extra precautions to make sure that everyone stays safe.
Well, we continue to take this threat very seriously. We've assigned significant campus resources to investigating this threat and also ensuring the safety of people who live, work around EKU.
School leaders say they are issuing daily safety alerts to keep the campus and community aware of the investigation.
It's a bill supporters continue to push, the decision whether or not to allow people to smoke inside businesses and workplaces. Today, that bill was presented to lawmakers again. WKYT's Phil Pendleton tells us what happened as the bill was brought up for discussion. It's a story that's new at 5:30.
It's a bill that Susan Westrom of Lexington has pushed over and over again.
We picked up 3 votes just yesterday.
Thursday, she was back before lawmakers again as legislators in the Health and Welfare Committee admitted their opinion over the issue is changing. George Brown Jr. said he voted against Lexington's local ordinance, but now,
since that time, I've had an awakening.
The bill would ban smoking in indoor businesses and workplaces.
Because they know it's just asking you to step outside 15 feet.
Yet some are still opposed. Phil Moffitt was one of 4 lawmakers who voted no.
Why legislate our activities? Why not try to get rid of the product?
Representative Susan Westrom's smoking ban bill has been attempted and failed numerous times in the Kentucky General Assembly. In fact, one year there was even a plan to ban smoking in cars. But supporters say all of that is now in the rearview mirror, and they hope this year is finally the year for smoke-free Kentucky to get rolling. Westrom believes the difference is being decided in the court of public opinion.
I mean, the public opinion over a 5-year period of time has done just exactly what we expected it to do.
Democrats and Republicans support the bill.
Children unnecessarily suffer repeated ear infections, bronchitis, pneumonia, asthma, all result of smoking exposures.
The bill passed in committee 11-4 and now awaits a full House vote. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Representative Susan Westrom says if passed, businesses and individuals would also likely see savings in their health insurance. An agreement between two southern Kentucky school districts was approved today. The Corbin Board of Education voted to continue the current non-resident student agreement with Knox County schools. That agreement will run through 2017. The program allows the Corbin School District to accept 405 non-resident students from the Knox School District.
A Central Kentucky man has been charged with kidnapping after he tried to force a woman into his car. Our county-by-county coverage begins in Lincoln County. State police say 34-year-old James Cash went to a woman's home on Kentucky 643 and forced his way inside. The victim told police he then assaulted her and forced her way into his car. The woman was able to get away at the Dollar General in Crab Orchard. Police were able to track down Cash and arrest him. A woman is facing charges for a crash involving a group of high school cheerleaders from Bullitt County. Police say 22-year-old Alyssa Mills was driving in the wrong lane when she hit a charter bus carrying the Bullitt Central High School cheerleading team along Interstate 75 in Georgia. This is a photo of her car after that crash. She's now facing charges for driving under the influence and reckless driving. 3 coaches and 29 cheerleaders were on the bus at the time, but no one was hurt. Police say the cheerleaders were on their way to Orlando for a cheer competition. And in Franklin County, a man faces charges after police say he was caught sharing child pornography. State police arrested Scott Haynes last night. Police say their investigation was all part of an undercover crimes against children investigation. Haynes faces 20 counts of possession and 5 counts of distribution. He's now at the Franklin County Detention Center.
A Kentucky student's first aid class may have helped him save a life. Jared Combs spotted a car upside down in a ditch in Wolfe County while driving from Hazard to Moorhead. He and others pulled a woman out of the car. Combs used a first aid kit he had in his car to help her until an ambulance arrived.
Try to make him feel comfortable. I was like, all right, we're going to get you cleaned up. We're going to patch you up here until the paramedics get here. Everything's going to be fine.
Combs is a sophomore at MSU and plays for the Eagles golf team. Way to go.
For him. Well, we started off the day a little messy. Dozens of schools were delayed or closed this morning because of the wintry weather.
But good news is all that wintry weather has moved out or is moving out, and now we're turning our attention to some warmer weather headed to the Bluegrass. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey joins us live from Rupp Arena, and he's at the Kentucky Sport, Boat, and Recreation Show. Hey, Chris, have you found some things, some goodies for us?
You know what? I found a whole lot of goodies down here. Now, the problem with me is going to be getting permission to take them out of here. That's always a different story there. But, boy, I'll tell you what, Sam and Amber, you guys have been down here. You know how huge of an event this is. 100,000 square feet of real estate in use down here for the WKYT Kentucky Sport, Boat, and Recreation Show. Kiddos, come on down here. We've got a petting zoo. We've got a hog trough, archery. Yeah, you want it, we've got it down here. All sorts of food goodies as well. We're getting you kind of a look at how the traffic is beginning to pick up in here just over the past half hour or so, as a lot of folks are getting off from work and obviously stopping by to see us. This is day one of a 4-day run for the WKYT Kentucky Sport, Boat, and Recreation Show. Let's talk about the weather. You mentioned the nasty start to the day, but it looks better out there. Unfortunately, it is a lot colder than yesterday at this time. How much colder are we? 20 to 25 degrees colder than at the same point yesterday, when a lot of us were getting off of work on a Wednesday compared to this Thursday evening that is just beginning. Those temperatures are into the mid and the upper 20s as of right now. Live First Alert Defender, nothing going on across central and eastern Kentucky. Going to keep that clean sweep as we go through the evening into the overnight and really for the next couple of days, and that is a good thing. And again, if you're out and about this evening, it's a quick drop in temperatures from the 20s with the clear skies. As soon as the sun sets, watch out. We'll hit the teens very, very quickly as we go toward the middle part of the evening. So with cold weather like that, again, it's always good to kind of have those thoughts of warmer days ahead. Spring and summertime just about upon us. Kentucky Sport, Boat, and Recreation Show, WKYT, big sponsor. We've got our booth out here as well. Stop by and see us. Sam and Amber.
Thank you, Chris. Looking forward to it tonight. Getting fired is usually never a pleasant experience, whether it's face-to-face or by text message. Brandy of Stanton has our good question tonight. She's asking, can your employer fire you via text message, or is this a violation of the labor laws? For an answer this afternoon, I talked to Amy Johnson, a Lexington attorney. She handles all aspects of litigation, though focusing primarily on labor and employment law. In general, Johnson says there is nothing in Kentucky or federal law that would keep an employer from firing an employee and notifying them by a text message. Johnson, though, says in general she would not recommend firing someone by a text message. It's cold and impersonal. Also this, employees should be aware if their employer has a policy in place on how terminations are handled. And one more point, Johnson says Kentucky is an at-will state. That means you can be fired for no stated reason or cause. Now, there are some exceptions where you cannot be fired for a few reasons that are illegal, for example, discrimination because of race, gender, or sex. If you have a good question, go to WKYT.com and ask us.
We have a traffic alert for drivers. Tomorrow, part of a busy Lexington road will be closed for construction. Up next, we'll show you an alternative route that you can take to avoid any traffic headaches.
I'm Bill Bryant. Attorney General Jack Conway repeats his stand that right-to-work laws are not a local issue. As Governor Beshear returns home from Europe, his office makes an announcement about in-state investments. The bottom line is ahead.
I'm Sam Smith in Madison County, where police are looking for a man believed to have broken into several cars and used a stolen credit card here at this Walmart. Coming up at 6, you'll hear from the man that had his wallet stolen.